Hi, my name is Robbie Butler, and I'd like to tell you about a new paradigm I believe will soon become at least as significant as unreached peoples. My 34-year career in mission strategy has primarily involved working with others to discover what's bearing the most fruit, and then publicizing that so that others can learn to be more fruitful. Recently I learned about a new book which introduces the paradigm I want to tell you about, and I got so excited about this book that I've worked out a special deal with the author. I'll tell you about both the paradigm and the book deal, and then I'd love to know what you think. Here's the story. In the West, we value obedience to legal standards. This keeps our traffic in neat lines, our houses built according to code, and truth a higher value than reputation. To our culture, Romans 6:23 speaks compellingly about the wages of missing the mark. But most of the non-Western world lives from another set of values, visible in disorderly traffic, homes that crumble in earthquakes, and deeper concern for honor and relationships than rules and laws. Over the centuries, Western missionary influence has been remarkably successful at training some in the majority world to think like us so that they can appreciate and communicate the gospel the same way we do. But this has left large masses untouched, especially among Muslims, Buddhists, and Hindus. The Bible certainly does teach obedience and integrity, but that's not the value system out of which the Bible first spoke. Our Bible contains powerful honor-shame themes and metaphors, which are hidden from us, quote, in plain sight, unquote, because they're outside our cultural experience. And these themes still speak directly to the values of the majority world, and to an increasing number of immigrants and subcultures right here in the West. 2 decades ago, Bruce Thomas Sidebotham wrote an article in Evangelical Missions Quarterly in which he offered this illustration of letting the Bible speak to the dominant concerns of those obsessed with ritual purity. The following is my own adaptation. Okay, imagine yourself a Hindu, Muslim, or Buddhist who has spent a lifetime watching your diet and obsessed with ritual cleansing for purity. Ritual cleansing from defilement and seeking enlightenment. Now, consider the power of a gospel presentation that starts with what you already know, rather than asking you to think like a Westerner about sin and punishment. Here it is. We know that all flesh is defiled, and from before birth needs to be cleansed. But ceremonial rituals can't make us clean because dirt can't make itself clean, and darkness can't make itself light. Yet, just as a candle drives darkness from a room by entering it, God has light in himself. He alone has the power to drive out our defilement and give us true enlightenment. God saw that our own best efforts to cleanse ourselves are like dressing in filthy rags. So he provided our only hope. God himself embraced and destroyed defilement by entering his own creation in the person of Jesus Christ, the only man to ever live undefiled. The Bible describes Jesus as the true light that enlightens every man. Not only did Jesus destroy defilement through a holy life, but he demonstrated that he is God by driving disease out through his touch and even his spit. No mere prophet could touch a leper without being contaminated, and a prophet's spit is as foul as anyone else's. So Jesus' miracles, healing blind eyes with spit and the leper with touch, prove that he alone is God, come to deliver us. And Jesus not only destroyed defilement and disease by embracing them, but he embraced the greatest enemy, death itself, and then destroyed it by rising again to prove that he truly is God. So our only hope for true cleansing and enlightenment lies in inviting Jesus to cleanse our defilement by living in and through us, and inviting his Spirit to enlighten us. Listen, all your life you've sought cleansing that you can never achieve on your own. Are you ready now to accept what God has done for you and let Jesus live inside of you to cleanse, enlighten, and rule in your life? So that's the story. That's the presentation. That's an illustration of the power of connecting with these other themes in the Bible. Now, nearly a decade after Sidebotham's article, Roland Muller wrote a short book to raise awareness of honor-shame dynamics, especially in ministering to Muslims, but he barely scratched the surface. More recently, 3 others have begun researching and writing on related topics in greater depth. and it appears that God is preparing many others to embrace and extend this understanding. I personally am currently helping with the January-February 2015 issue of Mission Frontiers, which will focus on illuminating this blind spot in Western theology. The biblical theme of honor-shame will also feature prominently in 4 Missio Nexus webinars in February, and then another EMQ article in April. Much of the interest in this topic is now being driven by a new book which isn't even yet released. It's called The Global Gospel, and it's by Werner Mishke. I've previewed this 350-page book myself and found it wonderfully readable and full of helpful illustrations. But don't just take my word for it. It carries forwards by Samuel Chang, Executive Director of the International Orality Network, and a separate forward by Steve Hawthorne of Waymakers and co-author of the Perspectives course. And the book has ringing endorsements from majority world theologians like Paul Gupta of the Hindustan Bible Institute and College, and Western theologians like Richard Mao, former president of Fuller Theological Seminary. As Werner and I have been working together on the January-February Mission Frontiers, I learned that he's offering anyone pre-publication discounts of 50% on cases of 24 books and 40% on individual copies, both with free shipping. You can find this at his website, globalgospelbook.com. So I asked Werner if I can offer an even better deal for missionaries, for missionaries to use as Christmas gifts for donors or other purposes. He agreed to let me offer a 60% discount on cases with free shipping to missionaries, and he's letting me pay a $20 referral for each case that we sell in this deal. So all the details for that offer are online at themissionnetwork.org/global-gospel. Please check it out and help me spread the word about this deal. You probably know somebody, a missionary or otherwise, who'd appreciate knowing about it. Thanks. Okay, now it's your turn. I'm interested in learning all I can about this topic and how it fits into what God is doing around the world. Do you know of others with similar insights? What can you tell me?